Here we have a SAT math problem. Okay, let's go to the question. The value of a collectible comic book increased by 167% from the end of 2011 to 2000 to the end of 2012, and then decreased by 16% from the end of 2012 to the end of 2013. What was the net percentage increase in the value of the collectible comic book from the end of 2011 to 2000 to the end of 2013? Okay, first let me draw a line which represents time given in years. So here let's say this is end of 2011, and let's say this is end of 2012, and let's say this is end of 2013. And also let me assume at the end of 2011 there are 100 comic books. Okay, now at the end of 2012, the question says it is increased by 167%. So the information says the value of a collectible comic book increased by 167% from the end of 2011 to 2012. So 167%. Okay, now we have to increase the initial value 100. That is the number of comics books we have assumed as 100 at the end of 2011. So it has to be increased by 167%. So for that, what we have to do is the formula is let's say 1 positive. Now we have to convert this 167% to decimal. So for that we have to write a 167% as a fraction. Then we get 167 divided by 100. When you divide 167 by 100, I am getting 1.67. So whenever a particular value is increased by some percentage, now to get the value after the increment, we have to take 1 and we have to convert the percent to decimal. The percentage should be taken over here. It has to be multiplied by the original value, that is 100. Since it is increased, we use addition over here. In case we decrease, we have to use subtraction. Okay, now this is the number of comics books in the year 2000, at the end of 2012. That is after 167% increase. Okay, now let's do the calculation. When I add this 1 and 1.27, I'm getting 2.67 times 100. Then when we multiply them, we get 267. So the number of comic books at the end of 2012 is 267. That is after 167% increase from the end of 2011 to end of 2012. Now from the end of 2012 to end of 2013, so the number of comic books decreased by 16%. So here decreased by 16%. So that is this value has to be decreased by 16%. So for that what we have to do is we have to do the same thing, but instead of addition we have to do subtraction, because here now it's going to decrease. Let me write it. 1 negative. Now we have to convert this percentage to decimal. So 16% can be written as 16 over 100 equals to 0.16. So let me write it over here. Times the previous value, that is 267 over here, because this value only is going to be decreased. Okay, when I subtract 0.16 from 1, I am getting 0.84 times 267. Okay, let me multiply using calculator. Just a moment. When I multiply 0.84 and 267, I am getting 224.28. 224.28. So this is the number of books I am getting at the end of 2013. Okay, now our aim is to find the net percentage increase in the value of the collectible comic book from the end of 2011 to end of 2013. So I have to find the net percentage increase in the value from the end of this year to, from the end of 2011 to end of 2013. For that, first we have to find the actual increase. What is the actual increase? So from 100 to 124.28. So that is 124.28, the actual increase. Since the number of comic books in the year 2011 is 100, and whatever value is increased from this 100, the same can be considered as a percentage of increase. That is, this value is an increment from 100 by 124.28. So the same value can be considered as percentage. So because the starting value is 100. For example, if 100 is increased to 120, and if I want to find what is the percentage increase, so the actual increase is 20, the same actual increase can be taken as a percentage. So the reason is the initial value is just 100, the same thing. So like the net percentage increase in the value of the collectible comic book from the end of 2011 to the end of 2013 is 124.28%. We find this percentage in answer choice A. The correct answer choice for this question is A.